Alright, Schlockmeister fans, from the mind of Ed Wood Jr. This thing's called Class Reunion. Let's check it out. The movie starts with a woman getting out of the bath.
Why the big border? Well, I wonder what this lady holds in store for me.
She gets a special delivery.
Oh, a class reunion. The old alma mater, the class of '69.
Keep in mind this movie came out in '72.
Oh, I wonder how the old gang is doing.
So we fast forward to the reunion. That woman's name is Fluff, by the way.
Charlie Knight, your old frat rat.
Yeah.
Have you seen Lisa?
Yeah, she's at the other end of the bar. I'll tell you something. We are lucky we got the use of this French room.
You mean Charlie Knight?
You remember those little college initiation parties we used to have, huh?
Yeah.
I bet you do. I tell you what, you all come up to my room after dinner. I'll show you what I mean. The door will be open.
He's got films of them. They're watching video of themselves dancing around topless.
I should have known you'd been there. Did. Well, then I didn't realize what I could have had.
You girls should shut up and watch the movie.
Can't show you, but then it turns into stag films he has of them.
That's it. But you guys were having a ball, and you didn't know Frat Rat Charlie was grinding away with the cameras, did you? Yeah, I know where you got that bowl leg.
It's suggested that they relive their memories. In other words, let's act out those stag films again. Can't really show you much more of this scene. After several minutes of an orgy, we are back at the hotel now.
Room service.
Oh, come on in. Right over there. You all swinging 69ers.
So the dude comes over, of course. And you know what's next. Fluff is played by the actress Sandy Carey. Well,
He's a good provider, you know.
not satisfied with the men, two women decide to get together. Why not?
And he always will be. But have you ever tried doing anything different?
I think this is where I gotta stop showing you scene.
Mineral beef.
And they basically fall asleep with each other then. Another couple's about to pair off.
What am I doing? This is my room.
You pushed me in, sweetheart. Too much pink champagne.
You know what happens next, and I wish I could show it to you. I really do. There's another couple, which unfortunately I can't show you. A gay couple, a movie ahead of its time.
Down there at the bar all by yourself. I thought it was only right of me to invite you up here for a drink.
Well, I'm just so happy you did.
And as you can see, I have a fully stacked bar.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. That's not the only thing that's stacked.
Oh,
Well, the shirts come off, the pants come off next.
come on.
And I'm gonna have to cut away before I show you a whole lot more.
My, you are impetuous.
They end up in bed, and that's about, believe it or not, that's about all I can show you with this scene. After some heavy petting, there's a knock at the door.
Who do you suppose that is? A house detective?
One guy's wife.
Dare you appear like that in a strange man's apartment?
But honey bun.
Don't you hunt bun me!
Madam, you don't understand.
I understand. No, you go dirty.
They extort money from the guy.
Possibly a donation for your movement of some sort.
Well,
A donation?
that I'll think about.
And she'll keep quiet. But guess what? It was just a con.
Oh, baby, we did it again. We did it again.
And then, of course, they're going to make out. They fall asleep with each other too, and they're quite pleased with themselves. And then there's these two.
Seems like life is cheaper out of all the things we like best. Take me, for example. I like sex. And what do I get? An old and potent rich husband. What's happened with us, Harry? Where did all those years go?
Well, in spite of being married, the woman goes for it right in the park there. And this is our last scene in the movie. And as usual, I can't show you much more than that. Alright, let's talk about this movie called Class Reunion. Now, this is a movie that was put up by private screenings in the mid to late 80s and not released on DVD as of yet that I'm aware of anyway. And it's a movie whose probably the only reason why this could be possibly even be remembered, if at all, is because it was written by Ed Wood. Ed Wood Jr., famed from like Plan 9 from Outer Space, Glenna, that sort of thing. He made several of these like softcore titty movies in the early 70s. He didn't direct this movie, though. It was directed by a guy named Steven, I'm not sure how I pronounce it, Apostoloff or something like that. He sometimes goes by the name of A.C. Steven, but he definitely wrote this thing. I think that the two of them collaborated on a bunch of these types of things. To be honest with you, this movie's kind of dull. It's 80 minutes long. We start off with this woman whose name is Fluff, and she's just got out of a shower. She's topless. She's deciding what to do with her life or her day, I don't know. And she gets this special delivery letter from the post office. The mailman drops it off, and it's an invitation to a class reunion. She's like, oh, the class of 69. Get it? 69, huh? Now, this movie came out in 1972, so is it a 3-year reunion? I don't know. Plus, all these women look like they're 30 years old, so did they graduate when they're in their late 20s? I don't know. But anyway, we cut to the next scene where they're at the reunion, and they're in some, I don't know if it's a bar or what exactly it is, but they're there, and they're mingling and stuff and talking about the good old days. And then one of them comes up and says, hey, remember those initiations we used to do? I've got film footage from that. And they're like, oh, okay, so let's all go watch this film footage. Well, it starts off, so about like a dozen of them go in this room, and they watch this I think it was black and white footage of some of the women dancing topless. Ooh. Next thing you know, they're all having sex on the floor in this movie. So they're watching each other have sex. It's like watching a stag film. And then when they're all done, they're like, I think we could relive fond memories. So then they get involved in an orgy right there on the floor. And that's the thing about this movie. The lovemaking scenes are very, very long. This is obviously softcore. There's nudity, of course. Plenty of that. But it's all softcore. There's nothing pornography here. But anyway, but these scenes last forever. They just go on and on and on. They're just basically two bodies against each other rubbing. You know, there's not really, you can tell there's clearly no penetration between the actor and actresses, but there's just a lot of rubbing and caressing and kissing and that sort of thing. It's basically petting is what they're doing in this movie. Anyway, and the rest of this movie is just cutting from scene to scene to scene. There's actually a scene in this movie between two guys. I was kind of shocked to see that. But it was all a ruse. These two guys get together and they're very effeminate and they're talking like the stereotypical gay persons or gay people do. Stereotypes, of course. And they're in a hotel room and they get naked. Actually, one of them gets naked and hops into bed with each other, and they start playing around a little bit. And then the next thing you know, one of the guy's wives comes in and starts beating him with it and demands money from him, so she won't tell anybody, I guess. So he pays her, and then he leaves, and then the woman hops into bed with the guy who's still there and says, how'd we do this time, honey? In other words, it was a whole con. The guy was basically setting up to be a gay con man so they can extort money from gay people. I know. And then they made love. And it's just one scene after the other. There's really no plot to this movie. It's just basically, here's a sex scene, here's a sex scene, here's a sex scene. But there's no sex. It's just heavy petting. I don't know. But anyway, that is the class reunion. The box said class reunion. This is what the VHS box looks like. That actress is obviously not in this movie. But the on-screen title actually is The Class Reunion, so that's what it's called. Again, not available on DVD, VHS only, private screenings. I'll put a link, assuming Amazon has this movie. This is some homemade DVD box art that we made here. So that's it. I don't know what else to tell you. But anyway, Ed Wood Jr., probably the only reason this movie is even remotely remembered today. But there you go. So anyway, that's it. Let me know if what you think about this movie, if anybody has seen this direct. And leave some comments. It's The Class Reunion. Watch it. Bye. Don't watch it, though.